Josephine Wanjiru, now a mother of 3, knows the pain of violence all too well. Growing up in a home where fear lingered in every corner, she witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of gender-based violence, GBV. But rather than letting her past define her, Josephine chose to rise above it.
I'm a program director here at Wounded Healers Foundation. Wounded Healers has a branch in US, so it's international. So I'm a director here in Kenya. I grew up just like any other kid in the village. There were ups and downs. When I say there were ups and downs, you know, there are those kids who grew up well, but for us, we grew up well. Hatukukosa kitu, hatukukosa chakula. But there was this kind of violence in home, like where you've come from, grew up kwa a very violent background. Your parents, they are alive, and I thank God for them. And so I went to a primary school, a nursery. Your time ilikuwa when ukifika 6 years unaenda nursery. I went to a primary school, I went to high school, I went to Mount Kenya University. I did higher diploma in community development and social works. And I've done different jobs, sometimes in haingiani na community job, but just to live, to make ends meet. Until 2019, ile time nilipata kazi na Wounded Healers Foundation. I joined in as a volunteer. I always had that passion kukua like a community worker, like a humanitarian worker. You know, when you grow kwa that background, you need to change how things are. And I remember when I was in school, nilikuwa nasema I want to become a disaster management. I didn't even know what disaster management was, but I always have that passion ya kukua in that ground. So when Wounded Healers was founded, I thank God because of the founder. I volunteered for a while as a social worker, and as we continued, I thank God because I got a job as a social worker. I was volunteering and I got a job as a social worker, and I was promoted to become a project director.
In 2018, driven by a deep desire to make a difference, she founded Wounded Healers, an organization dedicated to supporting survivors of gender-based violence and equipping them with skills to rebuild their lives.
Wounded Healers is an organization that was founded in 2018 to fight sexual and gender-based violence, like ubakaji. You know, sexual violence has many forms that people do not know about it. So they only think about nimerepiwa, hiyo sexual violence, but unasahau like there are other things that are sexual violence which people do not know, and people still do not know what to do in case you are harassed, because when you go to someone and tell that person nimekuwa harassed, people has normalized sexual violence in a way that ukimwambia umeharasiwa ama umefanywa something else, like wewe hujakuwa comfortable nayo, unaambiwa like that is nothing, hata hujaribiwa. So it was founded to create awareness on sexual violence, to let people know what is this sexual violence. When you are done like this, that is sexual violence. When umestokiwa, that is violence. So I'm a director here.
Josephine juggles family life with her passion for advocacy. At Wounded Healers, she has built a safe haven where survivors receive counseling, learn new skills, and find hope. The center offers computer and beauty classes, empowering women and young people with practical knowledge to become self-reliant. Through gender-based violence prevention programs, outreach efforts, and advocacy, Josephine and her team work tirelessly to break cycles of violence in the community.
Wounded Healers does many things, but what we do it to but we focus on the mission, which is to end sexual and gender-based violence. We do trainings, we create awareness. It has certain project zenye huwa zina come together to fight that sexual violence. One project is we have a safe house. That's one project. This safe house is a teen mother's safe house, whereby when a teenage girl gets pregnant, one thing that girl, she is stigmatized in her home, ama anakosa mtu wa kumongelesha, because when you get pregnant at 15, most of the people watakujudge, wakwambie huyu anakaa heavy, alishika mimba. So that's why you see many kids, our teenage mothers, they end up committing suicide, or they end up being, maybe when you know, for sexual violence to happen, like anyone who sleeps with a teenager, anyone who sleeps with a below underage, that is sexual violence. It doesn't matter whether the girl alikuwa amekubali ama hapana. So ukishalala na have sex na a teenage girl apate mimba, that is sexual harassment. So but those kids do not know, and community will, one thing, the lady is one who is judged when it comes to rape. Most of the ladies au ndio wanakuwa judged. So hiyo safe house ni ya bring such kind of girl. Instead of this girl get married at 15 because ameshika mimba, instead of this girl commit suicide because one thing, amekuwa stigmatized, ametupwa, wazazi hawataki story zake, ama huyu mtoto sasa ameambiwa wachana na shule, enda vibarua zako ule mtoto wako. So instead of all that, we give these girls another chance. We take them in our shelter, wanakaa hapo, and during your time wako kwa shelter, we have classes that goes on here at the City of Peace Learning Center, whereby those girls are the ones that are prioritized to do adult education here. That happens every Wednesday and Thursday. Those girls are the ones that are prioritized to do beauty class. They are the ones that are prioritized to do computer class, and we do mentorship for them. So that is one, a safe house is one project for those teenage mothers. That time we are giving them counseling when they are there. We are giving them shelter because we want them to regain their hope, to see all is not lost. When you get pregnant, you can just umeteleza tu, and because ushateleza, you can just lift yourself up and move on. So we give them chance to another, the second project here, City of Peace Learning. Wanakuja wanasoma. It's open for the whole community if you didn't get the chance to go to school. So the City of Peace Learning Center is open for the whole community, for whoever wants to come and join it to do adult education. Last year it was good because we had 2 ladies who did KCPE and they transited to high school, which it is continuing. We are lucky because CBC haijamaliza the adult education. So bado wako kwa ile 844. They'll do their KCSE not this year, probably next year. So that's the second project. And the third project is sexual violence, sexual and gender-based violence prevention. In this, we bring up the whole community. This is where we bring boys, girls, women, men. Some of people will ask, kwa nini mnaleta men and men are not raped? But remember, for rape to happen, it has to be a man and a woman, or a girl. So we bring these boys here for mentorship. We talk to them. This is how you're supposed to live with. We want to create that mutual respect between a boy and a girl. So we bring them here for mentorship. Wanapatana na mentors wenye watawaonyesha how to respect girls, and then we want them to be busy. These boys tunawafanya as allies to advocate for sexual and gender-based violence, and we get them through football, because getting boys is hard sometimes because boys, they are all over. So we use football to bring them together. So in this football we come up with a tournament. Tunatafutia tournament. Kwa hiyo tournament when people gather to watch the football, that's now where we have time to create awareness on sexual violence. We talk about sexual harassment, we talk about rape, we talk about child marriages, we talk about like all forms of sexual violence. We create awareness, targeting now all the audience, those are watching the football. That is creating awareness. The other thing we do with women, we form as the self-help groups. These self-help groups brings women together. And how do we fight these women? We do them questionnaires, or we do a small survey kidogo to know the community. That's why you find most of the women have undergone through gender-based violence, but they do not know who to report to, or they're not aware in gender-based violence. So tukishaongea now, we are able to form groups, self-help groups, whereby right now we managed to have like 8 self-help groups. This self-help group inakuwa ni like 20 women. Our 20 women, they meet once per month, na wanakuwa na mtu anawaongelesha about this sexual and gender-based violence. Anaenda nawaambia this is happening, and they are also taught how to de-escalate, because gender-based violence kama ni vita, lazima kukwe na mtu and you de-escalate for it not to happen. They are taught about de-escalation. They are taught about sexual violence. This is sexual violence. They are taught about their body. They are taught about hygiene. They are taught about sexual and reproductive health rights, and all that thing that woman wants to hear. They are taught about, and the beauty of it is when we bring them together, these women, they form a table banking, whereby they will give 100 shillings per month. So for those 20 women, nikitoa 100 inakuja 2,000. Someone anailoan anarudisha na interest, so the money inaendelea ikigrow. So what we do again, tunawa register na social service, whereby when they are registered, at least they can be able to get funds, to get loans from the bank. They start something huge for them, ndio waweze kujigroisha. Remember we said all this, we are doing all this to fight this sexual violence, so wakuwe self-reliant, hawatategemea nani? Mabwana. Which kutegemea bwana, we are not saying it's bad, but we want to empower each and every, not only women, each and every person, and those women, so that is tumalize history ya gender-based violence. For boys also, we are registering them, because we want them to be one. You know when a kid grow up in a violent background, like for example, I told you, like I grew up in a violent background, right? I either become a perpetrator or I'm the one who is abused. So the reason why we bring them together is for us to make sure we talk to them. Huyu mtoto hata respect huyu msichana, so hata mpiga. And I'm very happy to say, because boys in this community now, they really respect ladies, and most of them wametoka kwa those backgrounds zenye ziko violated. We work very closely with chief wa huku Mwihoko, because yeye anapatanga most of the cases za gender-based violence, and we do counseling here for free for anyone who is going through gender-based violence.
Josephine's vision has been made possible by the unwavering support of partners and volunteers who share her mission.
We have a team of 10 employees. Some are part-time and others are full-time, and we also work with volunteers from the community. Right now we are in Ruiru sub-county here in Mwihoko. So first we are in Ruiru, but sometimes we'll go in Murang'a too. There are two people who are in Murang'a who does the same. In Murang'a we create awareness only, but we don't have shelter in Murang'a. So it's here in Ruiru sub-county and Mathioya sub-county in Murang'a. Wounded Healers International is registered in US. It has two projects, that is Wounded Healers Kenya, where we are right now, and also the Afro Yoga in Maine there. So those are two projects. We are funded by Wounded Healers International, and the project with sanitary towel, we were funded by French Embassy via crew. So hiyo ya wamama about the self-help group tulikuwa tumefundiwa na crew from French Embassy, and we also funded by Wounded Healers and the well-wishers too.
Faith Mite, the program's outreach coordinator, ensures survivors receive the necessary assistance and that awareness campaigns reach those in need.
I came here as a beneficiary, right? So upon after my therapy sessions, I was so passionate about talking about my experience as a victim of sexual violence, and not everyone out here is willing to come out and talk about it. So I was really passionate about ending the cycle of sexual violence. So I was given a chance, and here we are. Yes, I'm willing to help victims of sexual violence, when you are ghetto, when you are ocha, everyone, to come out and talk about this. It's happening in our homes, it's happening in churches, it's happening everywhere, but people are afraid or scared of talking about it. It's even happening in workspaces, and people are just scared of talking about it. Others are just embarrassed, but I'm really willing to do everything it takes to help someone, even if it's one person, to come talk about it. Talk what happens.
John Ombasa, the computer teacher, provides digital literacy training, helping beneficiaries secure employment and economic stability.
Mimi ni mwalimu wa computer ambayo ni program ambayo inakuwa offered na Wounded Healers to also survivors of gender-based violence, na also we deal with women, na pia wale ambao waliweza kudrop ama hawakuweza kupata chance ya kuendelea katika masomo yao, na wengine hawakuweza kupata fedha.
One such beneficiary is Flora Kaithe, a young woman whose life was transformed by the center's support.
Nililearn about introduction to computer, tukafunzwa kufungua computer, kuconnect, venye unafaa kuiassemble before uwakishe stima, venye unafaa kuizima. Na after that tukasoma mambo na Word, venye unafaa kusave your document. Unaweza pia wakati uko naweza kuja huku bila the information, but nikitumia USB naweza itoa nionyeshane my documents. Tukasoma Excel, venye unaweza kuwa na kazi ukilete stock venye utaiweka kwa computer, ikiisha ikiingia una manage. Pia kama kuna siku utakuwa nafanya kazi venye naweza fanya hiyo hesabu venye wanalipo hiyo commission. Na inanisaidia venye naweza brand kazi yangu. Niko na biashara ya salon, nauza mafuta ya nywele. So wakati maybe siyuko kwa biashara, I can use the system. Mwenye kwa kazi ataona ni nini kwa kazi na ni nini hakuna. Pia nikikam nitajua ni nini iliuzwa na ni nini haijaenda. And again, computer tulilearn more about internet. Tukisoma tulilearn venye unaweza market biashara yako through WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Na pia when we were learning the computer, tulikuwa saa ingine tunafunzwa about life skills. Unafaa kuongea, ilinifaindi.
Despite their progress, challenges remain. Funding is often scarce, and the emotional toll of hearing countless stories of pain can be overwhelming. Yet, Josephine finds joy and fulfillment in seeing lives changed. Every success story, every woman who walks out of the center stronger than she came in, fuels her determination to continue.
The challenge that we get sometimes are the resources. The need is high, but the resources are low. Like for example, when I talk about the sanitary towels, right now we started making the reusable sanitary towel because we are giving out the disposable, but because of the story in the environment and also those climate change, we find it's good we do the reusable sanitary towel. So the need is there are many girls from the community, but ile uwezo tungekuwa nayo ya kupatiana sanitary towel ulikuwa unapata we only have 50 pads. So unaona mtoto akikuja kama in the first week of the month mnapeana hizo pads only 50, but they are not enough. What brings me joy is, like for example, when a woman comes, I remember there's a woman who came here last week. Akakuja akaniambia, she was very scared actually, and I feel good when someone comes here very scared na akitoka anatoka akiwa na confidence, because it's very important for every woman to be confident. There's a lady who came here atake kuingia, alafu akaniambia nataka kujanga huku. That's what she said. Okay, and I asked her, unataka kuja kufanya nini? Aliniambia nataka kuja kusoma. So she was embarrassed to say anataka kuja kulearn adult education. But the moment aliniambia nataka kuja kusoma Kizungu, that's what she told me, I felt so much joy, because that woman maybe hakupata time, hakupata something happened, hakupata that chance. But now because amepata that hope, so I feel so good when a woman comes and ananiambia nataka kusoma. At least amejirealize right now, like she wants to do this. Amerealize like I can do it, I can read and understand. So that gives me joy.
Looking ahead, Josephine dreams of expanding wounded healers, reaching more survivors, and introducing vocational programs that cater to diverse talents. She envisions a shelter where survivors can heal without fear, a space where their scars become symbols of strength.
We are going to reach each and every county. Whatever we are doing here will be done in Embu, in like every county in this nation and also outside, because what we are doing we want these people to know sexual and gender-based violence is not supposed to happen. We are supposed to reach, it's not only the organizations that are supposed to be fighting these things. Every person is supposed to be fighting sexual and gender-based violence.
Through resilience, passion, and the belief that healing is possible, Josephine Wanjiru proves that even the wounded can become healers.
Sexual and gender-based violence is not supposed to be happening. Ukiangalia hizi organizations zinafoundiwa each and every day, like organizations za kupigana na ubakaji zinafoundiwa like since tuzaliwe bado zilikuwa. Where are we going wrong? I think it's a high chance kila mtu achukue jukumu, not only organizations but everyone, to fight sexual and gender-based violence. And someone, if you woman there or a girl who is going through sexual and gender-based violence, you're supposed to stand on your feet and say enough is enough. You're supposed to speak up. Don't die. Usikufe tu hapo at like because I have kids, I want them to have the father figure. No, it's upon us now. It's let us look about ourselves, not about the kids that we have. think about our life, not about the life of our children. Because these children wanafika, it's very important to be responsible of your children, but huyu mtoto atafika 18 years then akwache. So think about your life and speak up. Go report that person who is abusing you. Go report and wacha serikali ichukulie huyo mtu hatua. Because if we don't report, if we keep quiet, these things are going to happen, because ataku violate, achane na wewe aende kwa mwingine. So the cycle will continue if we keep quiet. We are located in Mwihoko, a place called Kizito, estate inaitwa Sukari View Residence. When you just get in Sukari View Residence, ukiuliza tu Wounded Healers, we are just located there.